Today is the day that, well, yesterday technically was the day that DC decided to go all in. It is finally here. I don't think I've been as excited to go to the comic shop as I was this week in at least a while.
Can't wait to hear about it.
Oh yeah. Well, actually, my comic shop story is probably not nearly as interesting as the books that we've got on the docket today. We've got
Count them.
six of this week's biggest books, and you know that at least half of them are DC. How could they not be? We've
Seems
got
a, seems low to be honest.
uh yeah. Yeah, I would say, well, okay, since you said that, uh what could we have read? Because I went to the shop myself, obviously, and I was like, actually, I don't know how many of these books I need to have.
Poison
Oh,
Ivy and
interesting.
Shazam were the other all-in books this week, branded ones, and
Okay.
Birds of Prey.
Right. And Birds of Prey, I mean, it was a thick week. We just couldn't fit that in.
X-Men
Poison
came out. Yeah.
Yeah, Poison Ivy's the same creative team, and Shazam is the same creative team, I think. So, eh. But anyway, we've got Absolute Power number 4, the finale of this, of course. We've got the all-in special number 1, the flip book. Ah, Tyler, okay. Talk about it, Tyler.
I went to Galaxy Comics in Brooklyn. Checked it out. It was on my list of places to check out. It's near Prospect Park. Very good shop. I
Ah,
wanted a physical copy of this. First appearances of the absolute characters.
Oh, gonna sell that so quick.
was yours foil?
No, it's just shiny
Okay.
here. Yeah, no,
Okay.
yeah.
I was like, oh shit, how come I
I
didn't
also
see
picked
that?
up a new DC compact. The Catwoman one finally came out. So
Nice. Nice. Damn, I should have gotten that next week. I didn't see it.
there was
We've
a bunch that
got
came out this week.
Batman 153, Storm number 1.
Ooh, that variant though.
Yeah, I had
There's
to
a lot
do
of good
something
variants
with
for
it.
Storm this week.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
were. There were. I was only going to choose one. I wanted the main cover, but I saw this, I was like, I got to get this one. We've got Ultimate Black Panther number 9, the listener pick poll winner. I was surprised by that.
Yeah, it came back because it has lost previously.
Yep,
Yeah.
but that's what you guys wanted this week. And then Hyde Street number 1. So DC not the only company doing big things this week. Uh Also Ghost Machine adding another sort of area of their world to the mix. Before we get into the review, let me introduce the pals. We've got Cale,
What's up, hot dogs?
Tyler,
Hello.
and I'm Sean. Thank you guys for being here, whether you are live or in the future. Make sure that you hit that like button. Make sure that you are subscribed if you were watching us. Today is the day. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get right into Absolute Power number 4, because we can't talk about the all in special without talking about the end of the event that leads into the all in special. So we'll get to and through Absolute Power, and then we'll dig into the new world. All right, that's how we'll do it. So kicking things off with Absolute Power number 4. This is written by Mark Waid with art by Dan Mora, colors by Alejandro Sanchez, letters by Ariana Mayer. This is the big finale. This is sort of what everything has been building towards. It's all falling apart for Amanda Waller. Brainiac Queen is dead, which I didn't even realize, I don't think, in the prior.
Sean, a lot of this issue is I didn't realize.
Yeah, we might be saying that a few times. Brainiac Queen is dead. Everything has fallen apart for Amanda Waller. The superheroes are on the rise. Some of them are getting back their artifacts or their items that give them power. Like Green Lantern gets his ring back. And we see some turns. A heel turns face. Which we all expected. We see a return from the dead. The dead. There are a lot of things that happen here. My question to you guys is, do they happen too fast?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Gail, go
I
ahead.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead, Gail.
yeah, I had a hard time I felt like reading this, I got whiplash. Just like, oh, okay. Dreamer's back. Oh, okay. Green Arrow's turned. Oh, okay. Now we've forgiven Green Arrow. Oh, okay. Batman's got a mother box. Oh, okay. Everybody's cool again. Oh, man. It was a lot. Um, and the thing is, it was all so action packed and it moved so fast, but everything felt so succinct that I never really like I felt it and I knew what was going on, but it wasn't a problem.
I had it like this is a complicated book for me because I'm kind of in
Yeah.
the same boat as you, Cal. Like I think on its face there's some really good stuff here. I think Mark Waid has a perfect voice for the DC universe. I think Dan Mora is a modern icon. Like that guy's going places even further than this. Phenomenal book, phenomenal artist. But like I'm looking at the League of Comic Geeks has the core issues of Absolute Power. Apparently, you would have had to have read 8 other issues to understand what happens between 3 and 4 of other books. And I read half of those, but even only reading half of them, I was a little lost in some of these things. Where it's like there was an issue of Task Force 7 where like the multiversal like Superwoman shows up, from Earth 3, and never shows up in here. um, Johnny Quick shows up for a bit, so like the whole multiversal aspect of it seemed really funneled in. So that kind of threw me off, and it kind of it was kind of a key moment here. Um, and a lot of it was like, oh, remember when this happened in a thing you didn't read? And I was like, oh, that's kind of a bummer. That being said, I do think there's some good stuff here. But I don't know if the experiment worked as a whole for me.
The thing that really got me was with Green Lantern and the Flash. Hal shows up and he's like, "Oh, I've got you, Barry." And he's got his powers back and he's blocking the bad guys or whatever with the ring power. And the Flash, I guess, is taking his time. And Hal says, "There's only so much willpower." There is? Since when?
Yeah, that's never been a limit.
And
I think it
also,
was a joke.
but also, if there is so much willpower, well, why are you the Green Lantern? Isn't that your thing? And then the rest of the Flashes show up, and apparently willpower can transfer by touch. It's like COVID, I guess. Just that for me was a little bit too uh uh Deus Ex, I guess.
It was Gohan getting fed energy from dead Goku.
Yeah.
This one was so I've been a big fan of Absolute Power all throughout. I mean, the art is just insane. We say it every week that this comes out, just how good looking this book is. But the pacing of the event as a whole is just too fast. And it really hit me here at the end where it's like, man, wait a second. We didn't even get to see like Amanda Waller and the first issue really talked about AI and it talked about all these very interesting subjects that didn't actually matter. It was just like window dressing for the first issue. And Amanda Waller, it doesn't feel like she really got her big triumph. Like the first issue is supposed to be that, but the heroes are always a factor. Like they're never down and out. They lose their powers, but no one dies. Nothing bad happens, so it doesn't matter. And since the only goal she had with them was to imprison them, it doesn't feel like she was playing for keeps. So like didn't like don't you, Amanda Waller, knowing these superheroes as well as you do, know that there's a pretty good chance if they're left alive they'll figure out a way to stop you?
And then simultaneously trying to work with the crime syndicate, I guess. Just seems like another bad idea. Like, if your whole idea was to get rid of superheroes, why are you letting in multiversal ones in?
How are they better?
Yeah. In fact, they're probably
Yeah.
worse. Like, one of them, I think, was like it looked like a Zurin R colored owl man that was like
Yeah.
popping through.
Oh, crazy.
Zurin all owl, I guess.
Yeah, I struggled with that a lot. And, they get their powers back and it's really cool and it's awesome. And, I really loved Green Arrow's moment and Dreamer, her return. Very telegraphed, like we knew they would happen, but all right, that's okay. They're good moments. But I sort of feel like this event in the grand scheme is just that. It's just some really cool moments that work largely because Mark Waid is talented at sort of building these blocks, and Dan Moore is great, is one of the greatest artists working today. But in terms of like emotionality, I kind of think it's lacking in that department.
It
That
feels like a really solid like recap comic.
hmm. Because the emotion is in the science, like that John Kent one we read. Or in
Yeah.
Green Arrow, where the Green Arrow's family has to cope with the idea that Ollie may be bad. All that stuff is not in the book proper, which I
Oh,
think takes some stuff from it.
the explanation for his whole thing. Oh, and remember Martian Manhunter, how you implanted that telepathic thing in me to remind me that I'm actually not a bad guy? Oh, okay.
To be fair, that is a Martian Manhunter thing to do.
I was of two minds because on the one hand I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, okay, sure. But then on the other hand, of course, it's like, wow, that's extremely convenient. But
Yeah.
I don't know Martian Manhunter that well, so I was like, all right, maybe he can do that. I don't know.
The other part that felt convenient, but I think Mark Waid seeded very well was Airwave. And he felt like that TikTok of where your dad has that one block of wood that he's kept for 20 years and he's finally found the use for it. So the dad, he's like, "Oh, I've got this perfect thing. I know it." He goes out to the shed and he digs around for an hour. He comes out with a block of wood that big and he sticks it under the dresser and it fits. Yeah. Yeah.
Your TikTok feed is much different than mine.
I'm not gross.
I might be.
Let me say hello to some people here. Let me say hello. What's up to Atomic Hound? Always good to see you. Always laughing. How you doing? Says one more time. Just want to say, Sean, thank you for the work on the deep dive. Appreciate the rest of the crew and community as well. Thank you so much. Always laughing. Really appreciate you. I want to say thank you to MJ Looney for the 10 euro super chat. Shout out
Pound.
to the pals from the UK. Been reading single issues again because of you guys. I had to switch from ordering everything from Forbidden Planet and found a new LCS. You could say I'm all in. Let's go. MJ Looney. That is amazing to hear. Thank you so much, Looney. Appreciate the support. And I'm really glad that you got into single issues. There is nothing that could be better to my ears than you guys reading single issues because you listen to this show. That's the most important thing. That's the most important thing, that we buy singles. So awesome. That's great to hear. Phantom Flame, how you doing? Steve Matthews, good to see you. Comic Boom, what's up? Luna, Lozafren, CW Gordon, Chop Harder Alchemist, Silhouette. You guys are awesome. Andrew Kane, good to see you. Love to see all the names in the chat. Dan Trudeau, I didn't miss you. I see you. Yeah, so the big sort of to do with this issue is that when the heroes get their powers back, which the way they got them back to me was just
It's what we expected it to be.
yeah.
Fire and ice get swapped. That's a good indicator of what it looks like. Yeah.
So right, so the way they got their powers back was that they had this hourglass deal that played into an earlier issue, the prologue issue to this, where there was that guy that could go back in time. So the idea is that if any of the Amazos get struck by this thing that they're supposed to use to repair themselves, then it will take them back to the point before they got their powers, and that is going to sort of leave the powers in space, and then they'll go seek out their owners. But some of them go to the wrong people, some of them are just in the wind somewhere, and they've got to be found. I got to tell you, that is just some goofy ass shit to me.
What is a power then?
Right. Like,
Super,
because Superman's not,
it's
he doesn't,
genetic.
like, yeah, he doesn't have
Yeah.
powers. That's just his genetic makeup.
That's like if somebody
Yeah.
took my high cholesterol.
Wow.
You know, like, please do.
I just don't think that makes any sense if you think, and I know it's comics, but it's just one of those things where if you think about it for 1.5 seconds, you're kind of like, that doesn't pass the smell test for me.
And like, what are the confirmed swaps of powers that we got in this? Fire and ice, which I think that could be a fun little story. Like that seems prime for a good little one shot. Black Canary's got laser beams. Plastic Man is Invisible Man now. Who knows if we're ever even going to see these, resolutions?
Because I read Birds of Prey, and that's not represented there.
And she has a miniseries coming out with Tom King, and that's not in it at all.
Cool.
It also happens off panel aside Italian, I guess.
Hey, I thought DC was all in. What the hell? All put it all on the pages, please, DC. Yeah. So we got a couple different swaps now. Barry Allen is powerless, which
Good.
but it's not. That's not gonna last. Like he's in the Justice League United or Unlimited, and he's one of the Flashes. That's kind of weird.
And again, it's another one that's weird with when it relates to the Speed Force.
Right.
And the other posit being that the multiverse is cut off, and the Speed Force is part of that as well. So yeah, it's a lot of like DC Weesey timey-wimey stuff.
DC Weesey. That's what we're going with.
I mean, it makes just as much sense.
Fair. And yet, I still had a good time with this issue.
Yeah, I had a good time.
The pages where Dreamer goes to visit Waller in jail, those were really well written. Like I felt Dreamer's anger. It was such an earned moment, and I'm only speaking about that based on what I've read, which is just these few limited issues, and then the like syntax, if you will, from what I've been able to put together based on what's been said, that she's got a real axe to grind with this woman. And so seeing her be able to say to her, hey, you're the one behind bars. Now you're the one under control, and you don't know how much I took from you. You don't know how much I did to you. You don't know if you have a bomb in your head. That was great.
I think out of like the winners and losers in character wise for this event, Dreamer is on the top of the winners. Yeah. Like I like that character now, and I'm excited to see where that character goes.
Old mains too.
Sure.
Yeah. What about, since you say winners and losers, what would you say about John Kent?
He's not dead, so that's a win in my book. It felt like that for a bit.
Like he was gonna die, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was kind of resolved in the last issue, and then his one shot. He is kind of just another, body on the field in this issue.
Yeah.
There's not much that really happens from storyline wise, and I think Mark Waid said that they're doing a backup with him in Action Comics or whichever one Mark Waid is on, of him and Keenan Kong. So like he's gonna be around again. We'll see him. So I don't think he's a winner or a loser, to be honest. He had a chance to be a winner. I don't think he made it there.
But speaking of which, this issue actually shows us that the John Kent special where he's interacting with Dreamer, that was really her.
Yeah.
Which I thought was cool. I don't understand it, but that's because I don't understand her power set. But that was pretty cool. Like it wasn't just a dream. So like when they're looking at each other all lovey-dovey with the sun on them on the
Yeah.
rooftop or whatever, that's real stuff that happened.
He's healing her.
Yes. Through the power of
Wow.
love. Beautiful.
Well, power of dreams.
Power of dreams. Love, love, love and dreams. We've all had loving dreams and woken up and
And they've healed us.
yes.
Oof. Is it like a wet dream?
All right. So we've got 70 plus of you here with
Count
us.
them.
Make sure you guys smash that like button. It's good to see you all. I appreciate all the talk. I feel like Skamikaze says YouTube ad heavy today. I am so sorry about that. I wish we had a lever we could pull on that, but there's no such thing for the live videos. Um, but hey, that's the game we play, right? What was I gonna say? I thought this was solid. I don't say like on the whole, Absolute Power is a great event. I think it started really promising and every issue was good. But I just think that the cohesion overall, when you look at it from 1 to 4, it just doesn't, it feels like it's lacking something. And I think that something is just room to breathe. I don't think there's anything
Yeah.
inherently wrong. There was nothing egregiously bad. Actually, I wouldn't say there was anything bad. There were some like very convenient things and things you got to kind of ignore reality to accept, but we do that every day. Um, and yeah, I think it's strong. Tremendous art.
I think like an omnibus too of this collected with like all 39 issues, quote unquote, could be pretty damn solid across the board.
Well, and that's what I was going to say is, here in a month or so, or long 6, whenever we get the Absolute Power trade, I wonder how they're going to collect this. Surely it won't be the 4 issues. Because how could you possibly keep up?
I mean, that'll
Yeah.
probably be a trade at least of the 4 issues, but I think any kind of hardcover would need more than that.
I mean, I think the trade will.
So it's a green flag for me, guys. I say pull. I definitely pull this.
It's a
Yeah,
pull.
pull.
Yeah, it's a pull for me.
Yeah. So we're going to be talking about the DC All In special in just a moment, but I want to let you guys know that we, the Comics Pals, we're feeling the spirit too.
Ooh,
We're
yeah.
excited too about the prospect of going all in, if you will. And we decided that we would also go all in. Now, this isn't a partnership with DC Comics. Actually, it has nothing to do with DC Comics, but the Comics Pals are going all in October. What that means for you guys is that we plan on putting out videos every day. Whether we are live with you for Pals Pulls, or we're live with you for the main show on Saturdays, or the book club at the end of the month, whatever it is, or on an off day, we're going to be putting out videos featuring all sorts of different topics that we've been working on for weeks now because we want to be in your lives every day. We want to go all in with you. So if you want to go all in with us on youtube.com/the comics pals, every single day you are going to be getting new, fresh videos directly from us, topics we think were really interesting. You guys have really responded well to the videos we've been putting out. And so in October, we're testing ourselves. We're going to see just how far we can take this thing, and we want you guys to come along for the ride. If you enjoy these shows that we do, then I think that you're going to have great stuff to check out every single day of the week, including the weekends. 20-minute or less videos, bite-sized chunks of us. And you let us know if by the end of this experiment, you're tired of your boys. I don't think you will be, but we're going all in. Hopefully, you go all in with us. We'll see you every day in October.
Gonna be fun. We did some fun ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've been putting them out. They're already out. Our channel members are getting served. You guys are eating good. We put out 3 videos this week for channel members with more to come. And we're also going to do something brand spanking new for our channel members. It's something we've teased before. It's finally going to come around. We figured out a way to make it work. Pen Pals is coming exclusively for our channel members. That's where we're going to be live reacting to your comments. It'll be like a mailbag, like many other channels and groups have. And we're going to be doing that once a month starting in October. So October is going to be a big month for us. The other thing we're doing this month is we're going to New York Comic Con.
Whew.
And so, in addition to everything else, we're going all in at NYCC. We're going to be talking to some of your favorite creators, getting interviews, getting exclusive news. Some we'll be able to share with you guys, some we won't, and everything in between. It's going to be a great time. So, keep it locked with us all October long. It's going to be a blast, baby. Thank you guys so much for making it all possible.
Well, maybe not just the channel members. Amin's calling us out. He says we all know DC is paying the Comics Pals under the table with the earnings of the current Aquaman book. They got us. I thought we could get away with that.
I just did laundry and I found a soggy dollar bill in the laundry. I figured that's probably what DC would be giving us from Aquaman books.
I really wasn't sure where that was going to go.
Jack says, first time watching live as a patron, ready to go all in for sure. Thank you so much, Jack. I see you, man.
Thanks.
Appreciate you, buddy. Thank you. Thank you to everybody for being excited about this. You guys are awesome. I'm very glad that you John B, is that negative money?
Technically,
hey, let's not talk about the dollars and cents, all right?
Technically, we bought the book, so yes.
All right, guys, let's keep going all in with the all-in special number 1. This is a flip book. And I wanted to, well, I'll say the creative teams, and then I want to hear from you guys on how you read this. So the Alpha story, Josh Williamson and Scott Snyder. I think more Williamson on this actual story. Daniel Sampere on the art. Dan Moore is credited as the center spread artist. Alejandro Sanchez on the colors. Tamra Bonvillain on the center spread colors. And Steve Wands on the letters. So that's the Alpha story. And then the Omega story is Scott Snyder and Josh Williamson. More Snyder, I believe. Wes Craig on the art, Mike Spicer on the colors, and Steve Wands on the letters. So which way did you guys read this? Because it's a flip book. You could read it either way. Which way did you guys choose to read it?
I read it main continuity first.
Alpha first, yeah, so did I.
Same. And I think that's how you ought to read it.
It's, if you're, I was going to say, if you're reading it, that's the way it opens. But if you flip it, no, never mind. I don't understand object permanence.
Yeah, I sort of feel like that's the way it was intended.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Especially for the Booster Gold stuff, you kind of need to know why he exists for the Omega to work.
Yeah.
Chad is saying they read. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna add we'll get there, but the dark side of it all, like it hits in the Alpha, and then it's all explained in the Omega. So it just plays better, or I felt like it did.
Yeah. Chad so far says Alpha then Omega. I'd almost like to hear from somebody who read it the other way, like somebody who started with Omega. I could see why you would, especially if, because the way they sold it is you could read it either way. And so, if you want to see Wes Craig's art first, I feel that. But we'll start by talking about the Alpha story, which the POV character is certainly Booster Gold. It uses him to kind of lead us in. And it goes off the idea that, he's this hero from the future who always wanted to be, looked up to the same way that like Superman is, who we do get some inner narration from, which I liked. I like the fact that we got that from Superman. And yeah, now Booster Gold is being invited to the league, and Superman shows up personally to give him his invitation. And he's been a part of it before, but this is the big job. This is the real time. And in his future, where he's from, there is this blank Justice League membership card that he has, but it was always blank and he never knew why. And so he feels like now is when he's going to find out why. Which, by the way, Did you guys get your Justice League membership cards?
I didn't get one actually.
You
Oh,
didn't?
that
Oh, I was gonna
I
ask.
was like right before closing, so they might have been out.
well, they only gave it to you if you bought, I think the threshold was 4. You had to buy 4 DC books.
Oh yeah, then I definitely didn't get it.
Okay, yeah. Shit. I'm trying to find mine, man. Damn it.
Is
Because I
that
know
a was that a Hydra Comics thing, do you think? Or
no, definitely not. Scott
okay.
Snyder teased it a lot that it would be a thing.
Oh boy, I'm glad I didn't go for it then.
Oh
Almost went to the
man.
comic shop. I was reading this and I went, oh, I gotta go pick that up. I kind of want one of those cards. But now that I hear you gotta get 4 of them, no thanks.
Well,
I'll get one
I
off
mean,
eBay or something. Oh, CW Gordon says we're not even positive the UK is doing them.
what?
That would suck.
That's a ripoff. I'll find my card in a moment. It's somewhere in my mess of a desk. But anyway, yeah, so the league all have their cards. They're all, welcome to the club. And we get, a speech about what it means to be a part of this and all that from Mr. Terrific of all people, which I
Hmm.
like. They're sort of centering him. He's standing side by side with Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman, which I thought was interesting. Um, no sooner than he finishes his speech are the League under siege by Darkseid, sporting a new slick outfit. He looks cool as hell. He's got this cool cloak, which reminded me of Justice League Odyssey for some reason.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. When he's like an outcast, yeah.
Yeah. And then he's got a sick scythe. And the League do battle with Darkseid. And they appear to win, and he says, "Thank you." Darkseid ends, which is like, what the hell? And then they find out that this guy has sort of created his energy has empowered a world that was in the making, the Else world, which goes back to the Dark Knight's death metal event and Perpetua and all that stuff.
Hmm.
Hey, DC, I thought this was supposed to be a jumping on point for those of us that don't know anything. What's this continuity you're referencing here? What
Like
is all
alter
this?
alter
I
Earth.
sure didn't. Death metal? Oh, not for me, thanks.
It's so there was a tweet by Comic Book Herald that said DC All In is the death metal of Countdown to Infinite Crises, which makes sense
In what way?
in the sense that there's a lot of Snyder in this. Snyder is harkening right back to death metal in his Justice League run, which is not a bad thing. I enjoyed his Justice League run, but that whole idea of like there being an other Earth to us, which is where the Joker or the Batman Who Laughs was originally from, but that Earth was then like after death metal remade to be like this nascent almost egg of an Earth, and kind of bringing that back to launch the Absolute Universe is like Snyder's playing in his sandbox. Even though I found a lot of that parts of his run on Justice League and the medals to be very obtuse and not really into it. So I saw that and I was like, oh, I'm not that into that. I didn't really care much for it when he did it the first time.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I I mean, it doesn't matter because ultimately that's just the framing device to get us the absolute world. So it's, old at the end of the day, it's whatever. They have some way to tether this to continuity, sure, fine. Whatever you got to do. Um and yeah, I mean, this issue sets up that it's a dangerous world and everything else, and they send Booster Gold to go and see what's what, and what's what ain't anything good. Because as soon as he touches down, he sees a Daily Bugle, Daily Planet, um, and it's got the Omega symbol carved into it. That's bad news.
This is Dark Side World, really, right off the bat.
Then we get this sick double page spread here that takes you from one story to the other, which features the Dark Side Legion, Dark Side Legion of superheroes.
Darkseid's Legion of Superheroes.
Yeah.
You're the Legion
Yeah,
head, Cale. How'd you feel about that?
not a fan. Don't like it.
Does this make? Does this? What was it, the Great Darkness War? What was
Saga.
Saga? Yeah. Do you think this kind of harkens back to that a bit?
I mean, at this point, I think it's too early to tell. Uh, because that's very early Dark Side, and the Legion at the time. Hound, correct me if I'm wrong. Uh, the Legion is very drama focused, and so that's not to say that Darkseid coming in and absolutely walloping everyone wasn't important or substantial. It wasn't. I don't think it was meaty enough for something like this.
It at least elicited a oh kind of moment from me.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it what since New 52, really. The whole question is, where's Legion? Where's the Legion? Where's the Legion of superheroes? They bring them back here and there, reboots or Legion Lost, and you had the Bendis era, but it was never really Legion from what I remember. So them bringing them back for this, it was like, okay, they've been listening and they've been waiting to do this. This is kind of a big deal.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, this has been in the works for quite some time, and we know that. So it's kind of cool to see some of those dominoes falling into place. I have no relationship to the Legion, so I don't know what to make of that. What I can say though is that the actual like story, the all in material from the Alpha story was real good. I love the way it looks. I think that we know Daniel Samper is one of the best to do it, and he was the right choice for this issue for
Not
sure.
not only is he the right choice, but I think Booster Gold was a great choice too as a POV character. I know that some people can get grating. You can view him as kind of grating, but he is kind of an everyman who wants to do the best that he can do. And the whole story being about how the Justice League is now ramping back up and they're getting everyone in. Booster's kind of the redheaded stepchild sometimes of Justice League members. So having him be there as like the our like us if we were in it, our stand-in in a way, I think worked really well. It made Booster likable, which is tricky.
He was written very sympathetically. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
he has this big sort of emotional moment of like, nah, I think I should be done here. I better go back and face the music.
Which is strange because I don't think I've ever read that Booster story. The Booster story where he's given up on our reality, our timeline, and just decides to go back and pay for his crimes.
It I think it gives him character,
Yeah,
real character
yeah,
that he probably hasn't had in a long time.
yeah. And then like that, and then bringing in Superman to be the one that gives him that card, I thought was a great bit because like
Yeah.
that alone gave Superman, that was like, oh, this is who Superman is. He would be the one to hand deliver that to somebody, even someone like Booster Gold.
We got a 9.99 super chat from our friend in comics, Atomic Hound, who says, regardless of what you thought of the content of this issue, the construction was truly unique. Loved this. Yeah, I agree. It was a very fun way to read. Like I will admit to a little bit of confusion when I reached the middle point and I was like, okay, cool. So now do I just continue to read it like this? Like
You
Same.
turn the page.
Yeah.
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 And you're not supposed to do that. So I read it that way for like the first page before I was like, okay, this is clearly not what you're supposed to do. So you do have to actually flip it around and then read the other side of it. So that was a little bit jarring, but otherwise, I had no problem with the presentation. I thought it was cool.
Kale, how did this read digitally? Did it just continue straight?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because you can't flip a e-reader. Well, you could, but there wouldn't be anything on the other side.
Huh.
Yeah, and it's worth pointing out that like a major factor of the all-in initiative on DC's part is to bring people back into stores. So it doesn't surprise me that they chose to do something that could only really be represented in stores. The same way that Marvel's been really pushing direct market and really pushing physical with the exclusive red band stuff. I'm not surprised by that, but it is a little bit odd. Um, but yeah, I mean, I thought the first bit of this was fantastic. Darkseid looked cool as shit. Um, it made me excited to see what the Justice League are gonna have to tackle now. But it feels like in some ways, it feels like the first issue of Absolute Ultimate Invasion, where the
Yeah.
Illuminati are used just as a framing device to get us to this other thing, and we won't see a payoff of the mainline stuff for some time. I don't think the League are immediately going to start dealing with Darkseid.
If
They
anything, I
gotta
think the only thing that's probably going to be dealing with Darkseid directly would be New Gods. I
Yeah,
think JLU or it's Justice League Unlimited coming out, right? Yeah.
yeah.
That's just going into Justice League stories. That might be
Well,
a
yeah,
thread that follows it throughout, but yeah.
yeah, two thoughts there. I think New Gods is I have to imagine is gonna have to deal with the fallout of Darkseid dying, quote unquote dying.
Power vacuum.
mhm.
Yeah, massive power vacuum.
And dude,
And then I also imagine the league is gonna have to figure out what to do about Booster. Like they're not just gonna leave him.
I wonder if Booster shows up in the Absolute comics.
Or maybe he just disappears for 5 years
Yeah,
and then
until his movie comes out.
we finally see him in the secret dark crisis of infinite multiverses.
Or just the beard.
Yeah.
And Skeets is a gun now.
He's just a pistol.
Skeets turns
By the
into
way,
shoots.
we've got the most people we've ever had watching an episode of Pals Pools. Thank you for that.
Wow.
Love the excitement. You guys are really hyped behind All In, and a rising tide raises all ships, including ours. So DC stocks are up. Turns out Comics Pal stocks up. Yeah, okay, cool. So we talked about the first half. Let's
Oh, can
flip
I
the book.
sorry,
Yep,
sorry,
yep,
sorry.
yep,
Just
yep.
quickly. Um back on Darkseid's first appearance here. The only kind of story complaint I have about this alpha is that the league seemed to just know that Darkseid possessed the Spectre.
The only way I think because I agree with you, Cal. The only way I could think they knew was that the magic users are the ones that get affected immediately, and he had a hood.
But
Yeah.
that's it. Because it's also Superman that says it. And he says it right after Darkseid appears. And I went, what?
Yeah, Superman saw magic users and Hal Jordan affected. He has a hood. Got to be Spectre in a span of 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Superman's not the first person to notice it. They notice it on the page right after the big speech, and when they're speaking backwards, they're already talking about it.
The Spectre.
Yeah,
The Spectre will be Darkseid. Darkseid is. Okay. All
yeah.
right. Fair enough. Okay. Uh did that blow y'all's mind? Darkseid being the Spectre?
Not in the Alpha, it did in the Omega.
Yep.
That blew me away when I was sitting on the couch and we were watching baseball and I went, whoa. Because like the explanation was rad as hell. I'm down, in the Omega how they explain it, but I went, holy shit.
You get the anti-life combined with death itself.
Yeah, yeah. I turned to Jess and I went, Darkseid is just merged with the Spectre, and she went, uh huh.
At least you gave you a
That's
response.
hilarious.
That's something.
Yo, I can't find my card, guys. I'm so annoyed. You've probably seen me freaking
Yo.
rummaging in the background. I can't find my card. I found 2 playing cards that I got from DC as promotion for 3 Jokers. One of them is a Joker card with Red Hood, and the other one is a Joker card with Batgirl.
The BJ card?
Wow.
All right, see,
It says B and J on it.
Tyler, please.
Tyler. Please.
But I can't find my freaking Justice League card, my invitation. I'm so
What was
bummed.
it?
I wanted to be a member.
Did it have like a character on it, or was it just like, oh, you're a Justice League member now?
It had Batman, so I was Batman.
Okay.
See, the only ones I've seen are Batman.
Because week 1 is just Batman, yeah.
Honestly, I wish they would just give you just a blank one that maybe had like slots in where you could put a little picture in, cut one out.
I suspect they will.
That I would like.
Should we make Justice League cards?
Warner Brothers, we are not talking about that. If they're listening,
Should we make Justice-League cards?
there we go for superheroes because they can't steal that from us anymore.
Can we make Palsverse cards?
Oh, fine. I guess
Right.
that's all right. It's not like we don't have our own superhero universe.
Right.
Luna says the blank is the 4th week.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Trying to get people to buy those 4th week titles.
Yeah.
I'm bummed, guys. All right, let's talk about the Omega side of things. So the Omega side is, man, first of all, before we talk about the words, let's talk about the art.
Whoo!
Wes Craig, bro. If you're not reading Kaya, if you've never read Deadly Class, then Wes Craig's probably not a name that you're too familiar with. But if this is the first time you're seeing his artwork, we all got a treat. We all got a treat through this. I wasn't suspect of the choice of Wes Craig. I was suspect of the choice of Wes Craig for 1 issue because he's not a part of the DC rotation. Like, we're never going to see this again. He's on Kaya. That's what he is doing. But holy shit. I'm telling you right now that Wes Craig in these pages was drawing his ass off. He was drawing like everybody who buys this issue is going to go buy an issue of Kaya after they see this. That's how my man was drawing. He is trying to sell himself through DC and these pages. And you know what? He did. He did.
It made sense, too, to put him on this. Because Wes Craig is a stylized artist that you don't typically see at DC Comics. And pairing that with Sam Pear was the original artist, right?
Yeah.
The first half. Comparing that is a huge contrast, which really drove home, like, oh, these universes are wildly different. And then add that to the fact that Wes Craig is doing some Kirby-esque things here. Like, if we're doing Darkseid for like a one shot, you get to do all your Kirby loving goodness in this. And there's there's so many use of the Kirby sparkle in this, and just like the designs of everything, like the Miracle Machine, Kirby Crackle. I said Kirby Sparkle.
Thank you.
It's from a movie I saw last night. The designs in like the Miracle Machine, like those lines that you see all over like Apocalypse and New Genesis. That's such a Kirby thing. Wes Craig went nuts with it here. The Wes Craig art alone made this book my pick of the week, hands down. Such my jam.
Him drawing even like Absolute Batman looks sick as shit. Like, whoa, dude. You want to talk about savage and different? Like, that to me is exactly what Absolute is all about. Even his Absolute Superman is Superman, but Absolute Wonder Woman also looks badass. Like, you're gonna tell me you wouldn't read a Wes Craig, not to take anything away from the creative team we're getting, but a Wes Craig written and drawn Absolute Wonder Woman with this?
What I liked about that Wonder Woman spread was the fact that her sword doesn't end. It's like Doug Dimmadome's hat.
Yeah.
You know, like it's such a big sword that you'll just never see the end of it.
Hell yeah. Love it.
Uh,
Yeah, to me it was a really great idea to get Wes Craig to do this. I really hope we get to interview him. I'm sure if we want to, we can at Comic-Con. He's normally good to us. Um, I want to know how this came together. Like how did he get approached to do this? Why? Well, I can imagine why he chose to do it, but like I'm really curious about those details.
and I'm curious to see if he has anything else planned with DC. Like I know Kaya's his big thing, but when you're the artist that writes the genesis of a whole new universe, or sorry, draws the genesis of a whole new universe, I
The new
figured
Genesis.
sure, I figured DC might want him for something else too. You know,
I'm feeling this is a one shot, but I
yeah,
would be really happy if I would be happy to be wrong. I would love to be wrong
same.
about that. The journey of this issue is, you know, Darkseid's journey. It's his journey to getting this power and having these answers. And, it shows us that even for Darkseid, he's willing to go further, because he attacks his son and he doesn't want help. He wants to do this the old way. He wants to get his hands dirty. It's that moment when
Yeah,
Thanos
yeah.
steps down at the end of Avengers 2 and he's like, I guess I have to do everything myself. And Darkseid is ready to do everything himself, and he picks up a scythe and he goes to war, and he's shooting people with his omega beams. It's a really awesome story.
And I like how
I oh please.
Cal, go ahead.
I really loved the bits with the Spectre. Um I, the uh the way Darkseid chases him and knows exactly where he's at, and how to find him, and that big battle of God's agent of vengeance against Darkseid. It's just so fucking cool.
Yeah.
What I really enjoyed about the Dark Side story was the fact that, like, we've even said it on the show when talking about Dark Side, he's a force of nature, really. He's a
Yeah.
universal constant. And then as soon as he's cut off from the multiverse, he realizes, oh, I have never really had free will, really. He always needs to be there. And now that tether is finally gone, he realizes, oh, I can do what I want now. This is like Silver Surfer not having to deal with Galactus anymore, kind of setting a course for himself. And the first thing he thinks is, well, Darkseid's got to end. Darkseid is, Darkseid is. Darkseid was. And I love that bit in this too, where he realizes that he needs to end himself and the idea of Darkseid to be rebirthed anew in that nascent Elseworld.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Gave him agency, which typically we don't have because Darkseid is just the big end boss.
Yeah. And it sets up to me at least, a truly unique prospect for Darkseid, which is now that is true, now that everything that Tyler said is true, what's next? And to be fair, right, if we're really analyzing it, this is like a fast food version of the Justice League's encounter with Darkseid in issue 1 and the first arc of Justice League in the New 52, where they beat him, but he's going to come back later and stir shit up in a bigger way. That's certainly going to happen. But for some reason here, it just feels like there's more of a concrete idea behind it. And maybe that's because this is largely creator driven. But this is an end game that I'm really, really excited about.
I also think it's giving Darkseid character. Similar to Booster Gold, like I was saying before. It gives him more character, and it gives him wants and desires that we don't normally see, which I think it makes him different than the cardboard standee he is in Darkseid War.
Yeah, we joked in Darkseid War how like his ultimate goal is always the anti-life equation. What is that? What really is that? It's such a nebulous thing. And for him to have like an actual goal and a plan, and we see that goal, like the plan of the goal, get enacted throughout, where he just beats up all the big bad, like all the big people in the DC universe. Eclipso, which Eclipso showed up again, which is like, oh, okay, well, World's Finest is dealing with him too.
Oh, that was that same guy. Oh my
Yeah.
God, I didn't even realize that.
Dark Side of the Moon.
To be fair, I can't believe he popped off on Darkseid.
That was crazy. Darkseid was kind of getting smoked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eclipso's powers come from the moon. And so when he lives on the moon, I guess he's at his full power, which, you know, I guess makes sense that he could, you know, stand toe to toe. But Darkseid is, you know, clever as fuck.
And I just loved how he went to hell, he went to heaven. Cale, you popped off in the comments about Zariel showing up.
Zariel.
Yeah.
Oh, old Grant Morrison. Oh, Sean. There are angels in the JLA in Morrison's run.
I gotta get on that, man. Now that the new 52 deep dives behind me, I'm gonna read that.
I mean, we could always do a Morrison month for the book club. Just saying.
That would be sick. Yeah, I would love to. The only thing I didn't like was the way that they wrote Darkseid's appraisal of like what the absolute world is and what they have to endure. It's like, it's just a little bit too, like, it says bound by no relationships to Earth, to the Kryptonian, to anything. If that world is driven by life, by hope, then this one will be driven by challenge, by turmoil. A world where heroes are born facing greater odds. Instead of being raised in paradise, they are raised in hell, where all their advantages are gone, where they are the small chaos rather than the system itself. It's very like, gives me like Sovereign vibes. Like, I don't really like it when characters wax poetic like that.
It reads like a solicit rather than Darkseid.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's like Scott talking to me. Like, Scott, please.
Yeah.
And even still, it didn't quite feel like what we were sold on either. You know what I mean? Like, basically, we're sold on the fact that this is Darkseid's world, and we have to see how the heroes will rise above that.
Yeah.
With this soliloquy, it's a bit more like, you know, how will they do this when they're the underdog? How will they? And it sort of gives you a peek into the end as a reader.
I almost wish that was dictated in like a nebulous old timey comics kind of voice, you know, just the narrator, capital T, capital N, rather than coming from a character.
Certainly not. It shouldn't come from Darkseid. That's just bizarre. Frank with the 5 spot. Thanks, Frank. Really loved this issue. Wes Craig killed the art. Do you think the cameos we saw, like Eclipso, are hints at who shows up in the Justice League book?
Sure.
I could see that, and I can see them maybe like teasing the dark side of it all too. Like, oh, I know what you don't know, this sort of situation.
Well, even showing a character who's strong enough to stand toe to toe with Darkseid like that makes me think, all right, so if he can go toe to toe with Darkseid, then I could see a team of Justice League members having to deal with him and going to war, because that dude is tough. They don't have a boom tube, explosion, mother box bomb, whatever the fuck that was. They don't have that. So
Yep. And I think with Wade at the helm of Justice League, you know, it'll be similar to World's Finest in that Mark Wade's gonna get out his shovel and he's gonna be digging out, you know, characters from who knows where.
Right.
Look at Airwave in Absolute Power.
All right, so how do you guys come down on this, man? We're all in now. This is it. Are you guys all in with this or what?
Yeah, when Cale just said Mark Wade's Justice League, I was like, fuck yes, I can't wait for that. Like, I haven't felt that in a long time. You know, I was kind of on, you know, Green Arrow's side. Why the hell did they get rid of the Justice League? Made no sense. And now that we finally get it back with, like, the team that has been writing that's been doing the DC book that I've enjoyed the most these past couple years. I'm excited for the alpha of it all and what the Omega teased in this. There's some really interesting stuff there.
Tyler, I think that that was Mark Wade speaking through Green Arrow. I think
I
that
mean,
was yeah.
probably, yeah.
Um
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
I love this. I especially love the Omega issue. I think the Omega issue was my pick of the week.
Okay.
The Alpha did its work, but the Omega really planted the seed for me and made me excited. Like there was some meat on the bone there.
So for me, guys, this is two green flags. This is my pick of the week.
Wow.
I'm all in. I love this. You know, getting to see Wes Craig's art outside of Kaya was a real treat. Seeing him draw DC characters was just so it's just so unique, and it's a crossing of worlds that you don't really get to see as much as you want to. It's probably how a lot of people felt when Daniel Warren Johnson first dipped his toe into the big two. That's how I feel about Wes Craig. So I was over the moon to see that. Darkseid's journey is really cool to watch. It's like it's like the opposite of what we see with the Alpha issue, where the Justice League are like, yes, hey, we're bringing the band back together and everybody's invited. Yay, happiness. Meanwhile, Darkseid is running around, cutting his own son's eyes out, on the moon, fighting a guy with bombs, like going to hell. Like it's the exact opposite. And it's like, yes, let's go, DC.
Since we're all excited for what this posited, is there a specific title you're excited for most?
Absolute Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman. And I'm excited to win the bet against Kefis as well.
I think it's
Remind the audience.
Mine's
Uh,
Rom V and oh yeah, remind them before I get into mine.
uh, the bet is that uh, Absolute Superman, I almost said Ultimate Superman. Absolute Superman will be it's the lowest seller. Yeah. Because Batman's obviously going to be the top seller. There's no way around it.
Right. Yeah.
You're talking issue 1?
Yeah, the first issue.
Okay.
And then the winner gets the trade of whichever is the top seller. And I'm absolutely gonna win.
No doubt.
I'm excited for Rom V and Evan Cagle and New Gods. Rom's been posting some of the art. Oh,
Yeah.
he just made a tweet saying that a lot of the archetypes of New Gods were based on Bleach characters, and I was like, oh hell yeah! So,
Cool.
right down my alley.
I don't know what that means, but
The manga Bleach.
I'm aware.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Some good archetypal characters there.
Okay.
Let's hear from the listeners. Silhouette says, I'm excited for what this hinted at, especially with the major connections to New Gods and Legion of Superheroes. Near, what are we doing here? Near says, even at his lowest, he's absolute Superman. Mic drop. Stop it.
Is there like a Family Guy joke out there somewhere about that?
There sounded like, yeah.
Yeah.
Could have been one easy.
Even at his lowest,
Oh,
Near,
Peter.
that's what we're doing. Unreal. Anthony says, not to be nitpicky, but how would these dark side worlds be distinguished from universes in the dark multiverse? Regardless, I'm cautiously in, but really, I'm 1,000% in, all in for New Gods. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like the dark multiverse stuff obviously is a reference to the worlds we saw in Death Metal and all that. And I mean, look, those are worlds that went to absolute shit that that's like they ended badly. I think this is an opportunity to see how these heroes can turn the tide against whatever causes it to go so badly.
And didn't the dark multiverse get like destroyed? And that's where it was just left with the Elseworld?
I think so, but I think my interpretation of what Anthony is saying is like, haven't we been there, done that?
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, yeah.
Cosmo says that stuff coming from Darkseid, I guess, revolving around what we were saying about the 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 preview, of what the world would be. That stuff coming from Darkseid makes me feel like they might be pushing him into a more nuanced place as a god that cares about his creation instead of a big guy who kills stuff.
Hmm.
To be fair, he tortures stuff too.
That's an interesting idea, but do you think he cares about absolute Superman?
I think it would be interesting if he did, in the sense that like knowing that that Superman needs to exist and he's a product of his creation, sure, but it can still be antagonistic about it.
Is he trying to like recruit them? Is he trying to make an absolute league based around him? Is he trying to like turn them evil?
That's
If
the
he
story.
didn't care, why would he put them there?
Did he put them there? Like I'm not clear on all that.
Yeah.
They exist because I imagine they exist because there must always be a blah 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 blah. And so if that's the case, okay, well this is just a world where Darkseid's energy and influence has crafted and seeded everything that's here. But I don't know that he deliberately wants them to exist, considering they constantly defeat him. But we'll see how that plays out. Uh yeah. Silhouette says you will find out an absolute Green Lantern. Maybe. We'll find out eventually. We'll find out inevitably. But absolutely we are excited. All right. Let's move on. We've got more. We've got more to go. Batman went all in this week as well. They kicked off all in week, or the all in initiative, with Batman, which makes a lot of sense. This is issue 153, written by Chip Zdarsky, with art by George Jimenez, colors by Tamu Moret, letters by Clayton Cowles. And so this issue follows up on all the loose threads, or some of the loose threads, from what I consider to be an act of Chip's run on Batman that is now closed. So this carries over the Riddler stuff, where now Riddler is a crypto bro after he has been let out of Arkham due to misconduct and mistreatment on the part of the guards and whatnot. Mayor Nakano is working for the Court of Owls, or being influenced by the Court of Owls, which I personally don't remember that being introduced, but okay. And he's also a bad family man. Batman is at risk of losing his money again. Sorry, did I skip? And there is a new vigilante in DC called Captain Star, Commander Star.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the lay of the land with this issue. What'd you guys make of it?
I liked how it really felt like a jumping on point. Like this could have been Chip's first issue, and I think it would have worked as well. It's there's no who said it in the chat here. Let's see. Oh, C.W. Gordon, a Batman comic with no mention of failslave. The world is healing. Yeah, like it's not dealing with all of that we dealt with in the previous act of Chip Zdarsky's run. Jimenez and art also great. I think I generally enjoyed this issue. I liked some of the things that Chip brought in, like the whole Commander Steel, right? Or Star. Commander Steel's an actual character. Commander Star seems like an interesting bit to see how Batman plays with that. And the idea that like Gotham is healing, and it's almost at a place where like, oh, you might have actually done something here, Batman. But there's still these insidious parts of it that even at its best, he can't fully root it out. Or maybe they're fine and he's just seeing things. You know, he's just so used to it being bad that maybe it is good. I don't know. I like that. I think there's some good stuff here. And the cliffhanger at the end is one of those question marks I've had in DC Comics for a while, and I'm happy that Chip is tackling that part of it.
Yeah, I thought this was a fine enough like table setting for what's coming. I didn't particularly feel like there was a ton that was happening here. Even though, the stuff we've listed is sort of like, it's like a lot of stuff, but it doesn't feel like um it doesn't feel like a lot. It's not so meaty. Um, it's just, it's presenting several different situations that presumably are all gonna come together, right? And Batman's gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah. Oh, were you done?
Yeah,
Okay.
done enough.
Um, I like this issue quite a bit, actually. I like the idea that we're getting sort of a new status quo, like, um, now that the failsafe stuff happened, okay, cool, let's move forward. The Court of Owl guy just kind of walks in and just starts talking his trash. And I find it funny that when we first got introduced to the Court of Owls, it was this like biggest secret in Gotham that no one would say above a hushed tone. And this guy just walks in and he's just like, yeah, I'm a Court of Owls guy. I'm gonna threaten you now. Um, even Nakano's like, I thought your Court of Owls was smarter than inviting a madman like the Riddler in. I thought so too. And also, why do you know about this? Whatever.
I
Um,
feel like the mayor's not high enough to know about the Court of
yeah.
Owls.
And this guy should like he should not be walking around with his face exposed talking about Court of Owls. It's a big secret. Come on, guy. Watching Batman fight in the daytime is always awkward. And I feel like he looks awkward as well. Like even this panel right here, where he's pushing Commander Star, it's just really weird to see Batman doing Batman stuff during the day. Um, but I think that was the point that now Gotham isn't so much rooted in the shadows and darkness, and that's not where this isn't where Batman thrives. So I like that.
He's thrown off his game, and then throwing a very almost Marvel-esque hero in with Commander Star is
Yeah.
even more proof that like he's Gotham is changing almost and leaving Batman behind in a way.
This is like U.S. Agent
Yeah, yeah.
or who's that other guy? I forgot.
I hope
Um,
I hope it's Peacekeeper. The character that we liked previously, like in a new guise maybe.
oh, you think? Oh, huh. I never at one moment questioned his identity. I was like, okay, he's just a guy, a jobber. I don't know. Could be.
It's probably Lincoln March, right?
Could be,
His brother.
quote unquote. Yeah.
Hmm. Could be. Yeah, could be. I didn't think of that either.
Could be a dead guy who's a Talon.
See, it's the Talon stuff that makes me think it's
Yeah.
him.
Cosmo said in the chat, he said, however you feel about this issue, Jorge Jimenez won't be drawing this book again until February. And that's wild.
That's not good at all.
Not only that, I looked it up. There's a different artist on the next 3 issues. Like each issue is a different artist.
Mm-mm.
Its next issue is DiGiomenico, then it's Tony Daniel, and then Jorge Fornes. Which, like, for ongoing, like, yes, those are 4 phenomenal artists.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
It's what I always complain about, and I understand art this good takes time, but uh, it's just it ruins the flow. Like I want every issue of Batman to look like this, and I almost don't care how often they come out.
I would rather the Gap.
Like, having continuity of art style is important for an ongoing.
Yeah.
Unless, like Birds of Prey played with it by it having a storyline reason, but Gavin was there to kind of keep the thread between the issues. Like, Fornes is a phenomenal artist, one of my favorites. So is Jimenez. They are wildly different.
Yeah. Cole says it's bi-weekly through December, and Jimenez is back at the end of the arc.
And that's the reason. Double shipping.
Stop it. DC,
Yep.
stop.
We talked about that during the New 52 deep dive. Double shipping is brutal on artists, and an artist like Jimenez couldn't have enough lead time to double ship this kind of art. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
All right. Well, in any event, I really enjoyed this. I definitely pull on it. It gets a green flag from me. I'm excited to see where this arc is going. Not excited to see the shift in art.
Yeah, I'm with you. Pull. I I'm I have complicated feelings about Chip sort of picking up another writer's leavings, as it were.
So arc one of Chip's story is the Morrison arc. Arc
Yeah,
two is the Snyder arc.
yeah.
It's a pull for me though. Three polls for our DC all in so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the other three DC books also downloaded, so I'm gonna check those out.
Did you guys notice real quick the AEW
Oh yes, I did.
DC story? I thought that was pretty slick. Um, it's a Swerve Strickland story. Swerve Strickland is the former AEW champion. And they just tell like a quick, what is it, 3-page story with him. I thought that was really neat.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool.
Um, yeah, by Steve Orlando, Edwin Gammon, and Hi-Fi. All the all-in books this week, the regular issue books
Oh.
have that story in the background. Um, this issue though, was this oversized? Because Batman normally has a backup to complement it, and this one didn't. So I'm wondering if it was oversized.
I mean, the solicits for the next couple books too don't list a backup either.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I did like the AEW one because it also happened at the same time. The Warner Brothers announced that the rights purchase of it to go on Max, and the same day yesterday, AEW had an ad for DC All In on their TV programming. Like wrestling was happening, and there was an ad for DC All In right on like the lower third. I thought it was freaking like, oh, the thing that I've been telling everyone to do for years.
Wild.
And wrestling is a great thing to do it with too, because there's such a that Venn diagram is probably a lot of overlap there.
Yeah, it was pretty cool to see that. We'll talk more about that Saturday. Let's get into the Marvel space with Storm #1. This is the big debut, the big Marvel debut for Morella Ayodele, or he actually did a little bit of Marvel work before this. There was an Iron Man book that he was a part of.
I
And
am
then
Iron
art,
Man. Yeah,
huh?
I am Iron Man is the one
Right.
that he did. Yep.
Lucas Wernick on art, colors by Alex Guimares and Fer Cifuentes Sujo. Letters by Travis Lanham. This issue is a tour de force. It shows us, Storm's current position. It goes over the various positions that she has held. It explains to you why she's so important, and um, it shows us, how powerful she can be, as she has to save people from a catastrophic event that takes place um, at her own sort of, I think, this habitat that she opens some kind of space, and it's under attack, and she has to save people there. And we see, how much it takes out of her. Now there's some kind of, she's now in some way affected, diseased, in some way that is killing her, and she has to figure out how to stop that from happening, if it's possible to stop that from happening. That's pretty much it.
On the whole, I enjoyed this issue. This issue really has to posit the fact that Storm is her own superhero. Um, this kind of takes her away from the mutants in a bit, in some real, like, plot heavy. That she has this whole dilemma of having to either rat on a mutant that killed a lot of people, or let the false narrative that she was a hero from aliens and stuff. Uh, so she has to fight with the fact that, all right, does she tell the truth, or does she let mutants have a win, even though it's not the truth? And having that kind of be the crux of the issue, and her choosing the truth, is really interesting. But I think that also kind of sets her apart from mutants more than she has previously. Uh, there's this one panel where I think it's Gail Simone's Uncanny X-Men at the same, breakfast table that they are in that book, where they see Rogue making they see Storm making this call, and they're just disappointed, and like Wolverine just walks out, and it's just one small panel in a on a page, and I really enjoyed that because Storm's one of those characters that is like mutant savior, and for her to make this call, it's pragmatic in the sense that Storm would do. Storm would tell the truth, but at the same time, this is really screwing up some of those mutant relations, and I really like that part of this book. I don't like how she has a superhero headquarters now, some giant flying saucer. I think that's like, all right, how did she fund that one? But again, that's just like, all right, she's a superhero. She's not a mutant really anymore. Which I feel like is a lot of these solo X-Men books. But yeah, I think it's I enjoyed it.
I'm having a problem with From the Ashes. I mean, I feel like the every other issue of From the Ashes that we have read, without any question in my mind, has shown us that mutants are more hated than ever. That the relationship is not good at all. This issue says the exact opposite.
several times.
How could that be?
Yeah.
What I read from it was that is the stance that most people have on every mutant besides Storm, because Storm saved all these people in Oklahoma City. That she garnered her own trust for saving this one city, and then that was publicized enough where she got enough good press from it.
But
Uh,
the book says several times that uh the world's relationship with mutants is better than it's ever been. And so I can't, based on that, I can't just attribute that to Storm.
yeah, because if that wasn't the case, then what would be the big deal about telling the truth? Why would it matter?
Yeah.
It just even this racist woman in the book says, if the muties weren't there to save us, it'd be a whole nother story, national tragedy and whatnot. They spend all this time showing us how people are happy that you know, mutants were there to help them and whatever. And now Storm has to make this hard decision between telling the truth and damaging mutant human relations and continuing to lie, which would just hurt her because she doesn't want to lie. Um, yeah, man, I don't get it at all. I don't understand how editorial, like, it's a good story, but these stories don't exist in a vacuum, and I don't understand how you can reference other books within the same grouping that say the exact opposite thing that this book is saying. Why would the Uncanny X-Men be concerned about Storm telling the truth or not when we literally know that a part of their agenda and job is helping wayward mutants because of the relationship between mutants and humans? I'm just so thrown by that.
Yeah, I have the exact quote here. You're right. You're right. It says, "This is the news anchor speaking as Storm's about to make her press conference," which is kind of most of the narration in the issue. She says, "Since the fall of the mutant nation of Krakoa, an instance of mutant acceptance has never been this high, owing largely to the heroic actions of Storm in Oklahoma City."
It's never been this high, in that it's just above the ground instead of being in the ground.
Yeah, are they trying to say like this is an instance, or it's like this is the one part where people were like, oh, this mutant I fucks with, but like it's not explained very well. It makes it seem like, oh, the fall of Krakoa happened. Maybe people didn't really like mutants back then, but it's on the up again. But everything else tells us the otherwise. Yeah, you're right, Sean.
Yeah. I to be honest, I can't even imagine having an X-Men book in a world where uh the world loves mutants. Because otherwise, what's the point?
And maybe that could be an interesting status quo, but that's not what the status quo of the X-Men are right now. So books have to reflect that. And this one doesn't. I'll put that aside because I don't want the whole review to be about that. I also struggle with seeing these characters separate from the other mutants because largely I think they're most interesting that way. Like I felt the same way with Jean. I love Jean Grey. She's my favorite character. But as an individual character, segregated from the other mutants, she just doesn't work as well. And I feel the same way about Storm. It's cool to watch her, saving people. That's great, but it feels like watching the Titans put out forest fires in Borneo. It's only sort of interesting, but this feels like easy stuff for her. It doesn't feel like this is what would be this isn't why I would want to read a Storm comic. And frankly, I don't know that I need one. And this issue sort of proves that to me.
It didn't show me why I should be that interested in Storm herself. Because everything that's great about Storm comes off of, she reflects so much better off of the other X-Men. She's different from Cyclops because she, all the other reasons she's different from Cyclops. But she bounces off those other characters so well. You get more of her personality in the way that she's not the other X-Men. So if they're not present, what are we getting?
Yeah.
So now she's a superhero. She's got her own lair. And she's just single-handedly made mutant relations even worse, setting aside the table setting there. So I don't totally get why I should be interested in this character by herself.
Yeah, like on the page, I think this is a good superhero story, and I think it has some interesting things that it positions for the future. But I can't help but feel like Storm's an X-Men. They do well as a group, and that's how X-Men works. And it feels like she's being forced out of that role in a way that doesn't totally feel organic.
Yeah, and I love Storm. Storm is definitely in my top 5 mutants. But I just don't think that there's a reason for this to exist. And I wanted it to be good so bad. And to his credit, Moreau does a great job. Like the actual script is good. I obviously Lucas Wernick is tremendous. He did great by Storm largely throughout the Krakoan age. So all of that is great. The ingredients there creatively are good, but I feel like this is a book that exists because Marvel wants it to, not because there's a story that demands it exist. And those are not the same thing. The only mutant that really ever can consistently keep his own series is Wolverine. And his character lends himself well to that. I don't think the majority of the other mutants do.
Well, good luck. Good thing we have Psylocke coming out in a week or two.
Oh God.
Oh, and don't forget Dazzler.
Already came out, yeah.
I know. And we're
All right.
definitely still talking about it.
Yes, absolutely. And by the way, like I really, really, really think that you should give this a try for yourself. I hate saying bad things about this book because I love Storm, and it's like, how many opportunities are we going to get for a black woman to get a series? Not to make this into a whole thing, but like, that's a rare opportunity.
Arguably the most popular black woman superhero out there.
And you get to the last page, and it's this tease of her going on to the cosmos, and it's like, yo, they just did this in Phoenix, man. It's the same thing, because those two characters are way too powerful and don't have roots on the ground. They don't. Who is Storm's best friend? Nobody. We know about all her exes. Her man doesn't even appear in this comic book. The guy that she was dating in Resurrection of Magneto doesn't
Yeah,
appear in this
yeah.
comic book.
Oh yeah.
So they don't have social circles outside of the X. They don't have their own enemies. So either you're going to have to invent some or borrow some, which is what Phoenix is doing because she's about to fight Gore, the God Butcher. So it's just like it's very inorganic. You pick up Wolverine #1, whether you liked it or not, he immediately has Nightcrawler, who is his best buddy, and he has Cyber, who is one of several enemies that Wolverine has.
And then like the one friend they give her in this is Frenzy, which I love the way Wernick drew Frenzy's like fashion. Wernick's very good at that. But Frenzy has a story going on in X Factor, which is antithetical to what's going on here. Like, did they really just need to pick like the one other black woman in X Men? Like,
Yes, they did have to. That's all. That's all.
that's all.
They
That's
had
all it
to.
felt like. Because even continuity wise, it doesn't fit to what's going on with X Factor.
Brings me no joy to say bad things about this book, and I'm not going to pass on
It's
it.
a pull.
I can't do that.
I'm interested to see what Eternity's gonna do and how that's gonna relate to what's happening on the ground, but I'm not convinced yet.
I think it's the first time the words "I think I'm excited. I'm interested to see what Eternity is going to do" has ever been spoken before.
Oh, you didn't grow up in church, huh?
No, not really.
Soft pull. I wish I could bring my flag. Oh, I can. Nice. Flag at half mast. It's a pull, but it's limp. It's weak. Sorry.
Soft, half-mast, limp. Come on, Sean.
Wow. For Storm, too.
Yeah. Hate to say it.
It's a pull for me. I enjoyed it for what it was, but in the context of everything else, it's very confusing.
Yeah. Tentative pull for me. Joe liked it though. Joe said, I thought Storm #1 was good. I liked it if they're going to do a political themed book. I'm glad they aren't making it so black and white. Create conversations and debates. I'm glad Storm told the truth about what happened with the young mutant. Don't bury the truth to help your narrative.
I like that.
Yeah.
But that to me, that's cool. That's great. But where we need the emotionality. We need the human element. We need to see Storm not just do feats of strength, not just do cool shit, but be all that she is, and have people for those elements to be reflected off of. You know, um, I would much rather have seen her, like, as fucked up as it sounds, go to Africa and help people. Like, boots to ground, help people.
Do the do the same thing, in Africa that they did to Mars.
Yeah. Yeah, she went and terraform Mars. How about you go, terraform over there, make it rain or something, like do
Yeah.
something cool over there. Triple Ho says it feels like this Storm series is meant to ground her as a character because she's been built up too much. My theory is that she offered godhood. She has offered godhood, and because of her humanity, she will decline. That's cool, but we've already seen that in the last year because in Resurrection of Magneto, she is offered all power by the helmet, and she says no. And the helmet thought that that was her great flaw, was that she believed that she was singularly capable of saving the world if she just had more power. And she says, no, I'm hip to game. I know your tricks. I say no. So we've seen that. We've gone down that road. And thank you, Joe. Appreciate you being here. James Jones says, I really like this Storm book. She was truly put in danger. She made a morally tough choice, and she will have to live with it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But it's like, she personally is not really that affected. No one can fuck with Storm. The green dude from Nyx, that's the bartender or whatever, he's the guy that it affects. So I'd almost rather see that.
Where's his comic?
No. Flo Dameron, what's up, Flo? Good to see you, man. Check out the Bada Boom podcast, which is Flo Dameron's channel. Says it's actually impressive how in 3 short months they've managed to make this era more confusing than Krakoa. Oof, I don't know if I would go that far, but they've done a job already. I'll say
Yeah,
that.
maybe not as confusing, but certainly convoluted.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. We have 2 books to go. The first one we're going to hit on is the listener pick this week. This is the book that you guys voted for well, not overwhelmingly. It was actually a tight race.
Yeah.
But this is the one that came out on top. I think this is probably the most votes we've ever gotten for the poll, which I'm very pleased with. Thank you guys for that. It was a very hotly contested poll, but Ultimate Black Panther #9 came out on top. And
For
I want
Birds of
to,
Prey.
yeah, over Birds of Prey. I was
Yeah.
really surprised
Yeah.
by that.
Man,
I remember when the poll used to be a thing where like I can go on my 2 burners and like sway the vote. I can't even do that anymore.
Nope. Yeah, it is a beast all its own now. Joe says, is Storm an ongoing series? Yes, it is. Ongoing until it's not, So this week on the poll, we've got Exceptional X-Men #2, which is at 15% of the vote so far. Geiger #7. Next week is a massive week. So even books like Geiger that we love had to be put on the poll. That's at 19%. Sentinels #1. I'm really excited for this book. Alex Packnadell, 24% of the vote, but winning by a landslide is Transformers #13. Every time it's on the poll, it sweeps it up.
After that Transformers 1 movie that I saw too, I'm in. I'm all in on Transformers right now.
You're transforming.
whoa.
Yeah, okay, I got it now.
Yes. I voted for Sentinels personally,
I did too.
Same.
but you guys vote your heart, vote what you want us to read, and we will do that next week on the show, amongst the other big books that we'll have on tap at that point. All right. So Ultimate Black Panther is by Brian Edward Hill, with art by Stefano Caselli, colors by David Curiel, letters by Corey Pettit. In this issue, we have the 3 sort of main characters, Black Panther, Storm, and Killmonger, on missions. Black Panther is kind of embedded, trying to see what's up with Moon Knight, as Moon Knight gives a speech to the people about what they've been lacking, what they haven't been receiving from Wakanda and Black Panther, and what he can do for them. Meanwhile, Storm and Killmonger are trying to find the Sorcerer Supreme, and it's a bloody scene down there as they try to discover the identity of this person. What did you guys make of this issue?
I have a little trouble coming up with my thoughts on Ultimate Black Panther. Because usually every issue is a solid issue. But it never really blows my pants off. My pants remain on during every issue of Ultimate Black Panther. Like, it's good, but there's nothing here that is really justifying it being an Ultimate book in my eyes. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing that tells me, like, this can't just be a Black Panther book. Like, nobody really touches Killmonger anymore. Sure, Storm is in this. That's probably the only thing that, like, really means that you can play around with her a little more. So it's not really touching enough on, like, the greater Ultimate universe that I can see. But, like, Stefano Caselli is one of my favorite artists. And Brian Edward Hill, one of my favorite writers. And, like, it is consistently a pretty good book. I don't think the monthly part of it is really helping this. Again, like Ultimate Spider-Man. And it's kind of doing, like, almost like a reverse Dune kind of story going on. Where your POV and the good character is the king. And then we're seeing, like, the religious almost zealotry of the lower class kind of coming up and trying to take it down. I don't know, it's good, but I don't love it.
Yeah. So we had Brian Edward Hill on the show before this came out or right
Yeah.
after,
It
but
was
before
it
it
was just
launched,
after.
just after it launched. And what he described was really, really exciting to me. Now we're in issue 9, and I feel like I've not seen hide nor hair of what he's described yet. Um, like Tyler said, like and we've said in our past reviews, like the dialogue is punchy, it's succinct. Um, the action here is cool. Um, the cliffhanger, with this muzzled person, I think he's cool and interesting, and I like the Moon Knight angle of it all, but it just doesn't feel like it's moving to me.
Uh, before I dive into my thoughts, I just want to say, Joe said I live in Western North Carolina and the hurricane did a number on my town. Hope everyone is okay that was affected by the storm. And I just wanted to echo those sentiments. It's a really hard time right now for people that are impacted by that storm. And I know there's already a death toll and a missing toll and everything like that. So if that affected anybody that listens to us, like our thoughts are with you. Please let us know that you're okay if you are located in one of those areas impacted. And I hope that your families are safe. That's no joke. Comics are cool, but the devastation of hurricanes are not. Um, so yeah, this is a book where I feel like there need to be more pages. It feels shorter than every other book for some reason. And I'm sure it's not. I'm sure that's just my feelings on it, but that's because it just feels like it's moving so slow. And I like everything that we get every time, but it's never enough. And you could say, like, well, isn't that the mark of a good book? I don't know that it is because I'm just not sure that much has happened. It's more of a frustration point for me than it is a clamoring. I want to see more. What did Black Panther really do? He watched Moon Knight give a speech that was a whatever speech. And then he's like, "Grr, I'm mad. I wanna fight." And then he's like, "All right, but I won't. I'll walk away." Which
Yeah,
we already saw him. We saw Moon Knight walk away from a fight with Black Panther a couple issues ago, and it's just like
right.
they have to walk away because we cannot immediately see what happens next. That sucks. And then like the reveal, the whole Sorcerer Supreme stuff where whoever that is unable to directly use their powers or directly leave this room that they're in. They're in some way bound, and so they're using other people. I thought that was sick, seeing the bodies, seeing them speak through this guy who they're mind controlling or whatever. And then the reveal at the end is awesome, but who the fuck was that?
I was
It's
like, oh, what a cool take on Doctor Strange. Let's go.
well, it is a
Nope.
Sorcerer Supreme. That much we know. We just don't know who it is. Is it
Yeah,
Right.
that's the
is it
question. Who
is
the
it
fuck was that?
is it Blackheart? Is it Stephen Strange's sister? Is it Clea? Agatha?
I'm sure Brian has a reason for this and an answer for this. Why couldn't it just be Strange?
Maybe they've got other plans for him. That's cool, I guess.
Yeah, yeah,
I thought it was gonna be Brother Voodoo.
that would be
That
cool. Yeah,
this rant like it's just, if it's a new character, right? Then certainly who cares. If it's not, then it's going to be an altered version of a character that we've gotten before, and that's fine. But without a name, it's like, okay, wow,
She looked like a character that could have been like X-Men Nemesis.
yeah, yeah, right.
Which
that the one
honestly,
with
that's
the
a good thing in my opinion.
We got a $5 super chat from Bradford Hogue. Bradford Hogue, who says, "Will you be able to get Jeff Johns on the show to speak on the ending of his JSA book?" Stay tuned.
That would be cool. That would be cool.
I'll say this. If I were a betting person, which I am not, as we've
Anymore.
established, I would bet that you will see Jeff Johns on this channel again sooner rather than later. That's what I would say. I think that's a fair assessment. Go ahead.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'd
There's
also
nothing on the books.
Yeah.
I think it's a really easy thing to make happen. Like, I don't know.
And I would say I'd at least want to talk to him about the process of ending JSA after so long. I don't know if we can get into the nitty gritty about it, like in terms of plot, but
Why not?
I have to read the book.
It's actually very good. I read the first few issues and then I stopped because I don't know. I just stopped, but it's really good.
It's done now, so I can read it.
Yeah. Yeah. Amin says Sean should be a politician. Hey, I thought I was going to be the president one day, and then I ended up doing this. What happened to me? Yeah, so I think this is a good issue. I really like the art. Everything's there, but it's just not enough. And I don't know if there's anything that they can do to make me feel differently than that. I just need more.
It feels like every issue of this book specifically has felt like that.
I still blame the monthly bit. You cannot have momentum if you need to constantly cut. It's just bad storytelling.
Yeah, C.W. Gordon said it earlier. They said decompressed, but also super compressed, having to get a month into one issue. Just not how storytelling should be forced into. Yeah.
I'm still gonna green flag it. Because it is good. It's quality. But if I were gonna drop I already dropped Ultimate X-Men. If I were going to drop another Ultimates book, which, like I said, the culling is coming, it would be this. This would be the one.
To take one from Marco, it's a solid book. I think it's a pull, but not enthusiastic.
Yeah.
I think this one will probably read really good and really well in trade.
But how many times can we be saying that for these comics that come out monthly, you know?
Yeah.
Silhouette says, "Isn't that also Ultimate X-Men? I heard y'all say the story has not moved forward for Ultimate X-Men." Well, that's why I cut it. Others have not, but
yeah. Well, and Ultimate X-Men even has the added thing of being like so manga influenced, right? And that's not wholly a bad thing, but like Peach's style in that book is just it harkens to an entire different angle of the medium that like Sean and I just can't gel with. We're just having such a hard time. Whereas this, it feels like stuff. It feels like stuff is happening, and the dialogue is very succinct and to the point, and there is movement. It's just slow and not enough.
yeah. Agreed. Silhouette also says we need Al Ewing back on the show. Well, that I can't talk about. But if I can't talk about it, then there's probably something to talk about, right? Yeah. The ultimate line is a mixed bag. James Jones says, "But Sean, it was the live vibranium that tempted Black Panther to fight." Yeah, totally. It was, and that's cool. The problem is that, like, looking outside of just that, I know also that he can't fight because they don't want that to happen yet. We already saw him sort of scrap with Moon Knight, and then Moon Knight literally walked away. If he's that big of a danger, why is he just getting to walk away?
Yep.
At least keep fighting him. Don't let him just say, all right, you know what? I didn't win that, so I'm gonna head out. Oh,
Can't believe that happened in a comic book.
Yeah, comic books sort of, which
I
are
thought I'd win this.
Yeah.
Well, I'll see you later.
Imagine coming up with a storytelling device that prevents you from having cliffhangers, which is part and parcel of what monthly comics is.
right. Like, I don't care at all about the cliffhanger that we got in this issue, because whatever the answer is, it's gonna be skipped. That we're gonna skip that and go a month ahead. And I can't tell you at all what happened in the prior issue of this book. I cannot tell you. I have no recollection.
It makes every issue a jumping off point if you want it to be.
Yeah, it's too easy. You don't have to tune in to see what happened next, because you're not gonna see what happened next. That's just anti-comics, if you ask me. All right. The last book we've got for today is Hyde Street #1 from Ghost Machine. This is written by Jeff Johns with art by Ivan Reis, inks by Danny Mickey, colors by Brad Anderson, letters by Rob Lee. That is a large swath of the creative team from Dark Side War, which we recently did a book club episode on, to cap our New 52 month in September. And Hyde Street is an interesting series. It's essentially presented as like a Twilight Zone-esque sort of world that the stories sort of play out like that, but then it's also got a forward momentum and an overarching narrative that we're going to experience, which is very unique because Twilight Zone really is just an anthology series. There is no overarching story, but you love the morality plays and stuff like that. So Hyde Street seems like it's going to give us a lot of this and a lot of that, which is very interesting. I really like the premise, and I also thought this was Ivan Reis's best art maybe ever. Holy shit!
That Pygmy Marmoset was scary as shit.
Yeah, it did its job. Yeah,
I guess so. Yeah. I'm with you, Sean. I really like this a lot.
Yeah.
In terms of like Ghost Machine #1s, it's up there with Rook, I think, for me. Because that the storytelling of it, like, this is if Rod Serling was a character in Twilight Zone and we got to figure out what that narrator's whole deal was. Yeah. Which is such a weird premise to me, you know? Like, it's not something that's ever really crossed my mind. And then like there's like a kid who's a little more fucked up, where it's like, oh, what if the Twilight Zone maybe existed in the same world that Tales from the Crypt existed, and the Crypt Keeper had his own kind of story and stuff. I really like this. This is weird. You could do those one and done morality tales, but also have this power dynamic going in the background. And then once they showed that scoreboard, which is like a Grand Central Station train board, I was like, oh, look at all these characters. Yeah, I'm in. This is right down my alley. Right down my street, I guess. I really like this. This is great.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. And I heard the narrator as Rod Serling. I read each time they talked about Hyde Street, I heard it in his cadence, the Twilight Zone cadence. I thought that was great.
Yes.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't have that much to add. I really enjoyed this. I I was surprised at how much I enjoyed the death of the old lady at the beginning.
All right.
Well, because it slowly unravels, and it eventually, like, you can tell that this kid, he's talking to the old lady, and she's dropping, her very basic life story. Oh, my husband died. Oh, our kid died, blah, blah, blah. And the kid's like, oh yeah, I've got, so and so and this and this. And hey, what's in the bag? What's in the bag, old lady? And it just slowly turns and you're like, what the hell? But then you find out she killed her daughter and her husband. And it took longer for her to kill her husband. So that like made it even worse. Um, and it's not just like torturing these people for torture's sake, like, or at
Right.
least at this point, in that case. There are rules, and I think that's what makes this uh slightly more interesting. It gives it an engine.
And I love that one little bit where after she gets steamrolled, Pranky gets the steamroller badge. Like it's not really like it's like a quick panel, but it's like all right, that's just fun.
Oh, I noticed the badge. I didn't notice that it was a
Yeah.
steamroller particularly. That's funny.
There's a Rook Exodus Easter egg. If you
I saw the Junkyard Joe one. I didn't see the Rook one.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah, the arm here of the
Oh,
yeah, it says
cool.
Rook
Oh,
Construction.
okay, so
Yeah, wish I hadn't read I read the first few pages early. I don't even remember how anymore, but already knew the twist with the grandma.
yeah,
So I was like, ah, damn. It was a great twist. I think it works really well. I just wish I hadn't known it. Um, I like the fact that Hyde Street is a place that you will go to if you've done wrong things. I appreciated that. Um, I like the fact that, even Mr. Hyde or not Mr. Hyde, Mr. X-Ray or whatever.
yeah.
Um, he's here for a reason himself. He's here because he's a dirtbag on some level. And he's done wrong. And getting to flash back and see his origin story was really cool. Um, there I don't think this book does anything wrong. It's excellent. The kid, Pip or whatever his name is, that dude
Cranky,
is sorry,
cranky.
Pranky, yes. That kid is creepy as shit. At
Yeah,
the end, when or I keep wanting to say that, when Mr. X-Ray goes to his treehouse and oh my god, dude, and his face changes.
Yeah, I'm looking at
Look
the same
at
page.
that.
I will say, Ivan Reese's children, large heads. That is a large-headed child.
yeah,
That was a
yeah.
C-section for sure.
Yeah, he has a dome. But it reminded me of the Violator in a way, which is a weird reference, but like
Huh.
a regular, like, oh, that's a clown, yeah, and then it just becomes a disgusting monster. And even before Violator fully transforms, his face can change.
Yeah,
So we don't know what the full transformation of this freaking kid looks like,
yeah.
and I'm excited to see it.
Such an easy cosplay too for Mr. X-Ray. Like I'm
Yeah,
contemplating it.
Yeah.
this is probably my favorite number one of all the Ghost Machine books thus far.
That's
Really?
exactly what I was about to say. Because
It's
it to
yeah,
to me it feels like the most different. I
it
think
is.
this is how I wanted to see Jeff stretch his legs.
Yeah, when you say most different, like specifically for Jeff Johns too, this feels like nothing I read of his.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like if Jeff Johns never left DC, there is a 0.0 chance we would get to see this kind of comic from him.
yeah,
It's not possible to do. You could see you could see a world where something like Geiger could exist or Junkyard Joe could possibly exist at DC.
yep.
Even Rook maybe.
Rook is just a cool Transformers and Animal Man crossover. Like,
Yeah, but this feels like something that you just would never get any other place.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
what I want Ghost Machine to be. This was nuts.
Yeah.
And then we're getting a one shot that's coming out that's going to have it's going to be like a like a an offshoot type of thing, but it's going to be written by Maytal Jut, who is one of the Ghost Machine core writers, which is pretty exciting because we actually haven't seen anything from her yet. And that comes out this month as well.
Have we gotten any non-Jeff Johns Ghost Machine titles out yet?
No.
No, so she'll be the
They've-
first.
Yeah,
First,
she'll be
Uh,
the first one.
yeah.
Yeah, this Hyde Street begins the second wave.
Cool. Yeah, no,
And-
that should be fun.
Yeah. So this was as close to flawless like as a comic can get. There really isn't anything wrong with this. I enjoyed every page. The art is insane. Jeff Johns perfectly captures the spirit of what they were going for, that Twilight Zone-y vibe. If you like horror comics, I think this is a slam dunk. Slam dunk.
It's funny because last Comic-Con when we were talking to Jeff, he had Ice Cream Man in his hand. And he's like, "Yeah, this is the kind of stuff I'm really into right now." And I'm like, "Oh,
Huh.
I can see how like a horror anthology is something you would have been into, and then Hyde Street comes out of that. So like, just the influence there. Yeah.
Yo, I see that cover you've got on. They didn't have that
Oh,
at
the
the
Blackest
local.
Night.
I didn't see
homage.
that.
Well, you might have to go check again. This might be exclusive to some places too. I forget where.
I'm going to see Joker 2 tomorrow. I'm going back to my LCS. I'm going to go back. I haven't gone back to my LCS in an age.
It's an incentive cover. I forgot what that means, but
It means buy
Behind-
X to get
so behind the counter probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
I might oh man. I might
Uh-oh.
have to do a bad. I might have to break bad.
You can wait till New York Comic Con. You might be able to find it there. It'll be like the thing you hunt for.
Maybe the Ghost Machine booth will have it.
Yeah,
I
that's
found
true.
out
Yeah.
I found out that they're going to be sharing a space with Midtown Comics this year.
Oh,
Oh,
interesting. Yeah, actually, that might be a good place to find it. Probably get it signed too.
Probably.
I mean, you already have all their signatures on a poster, so
You're damn right I do. Weedman Wade. Oh, wait, no, before we get to the comments. Yeah, easy double green flag. I know I already chose a pick of the week. That's cool. I'm still double greening this bad boy.
Any other week, this would have been a pick of the week.
Yeah.
Easy.
Wes Craig was enough to tip it over past this. But yeah, this was
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah, for sure. Weedman Wade says, why would you inflict pain on yourself by watching Lady Gaga play Not Harley? Because I am a masochist. Masochist.
A masochist.
I'm
Yeah.
going tonight, buddy. I'm hyped. I'm hyped to be disappointed, just like that new Lady Gaga album. Oof! Have you listened to that Harlequin?
I have it.
Oh
I have
boy.
it.
Oh boy. Listen to the
have-
Joker on it. Just the song "The Joker." Might be one of the worst songs I've ever listened to. And I'm a Lady Gaga stan, as they say.
Tyler tried to convince us when this movie was first announced and everything that this was like going to be incredible.
For me. And I still have hopes that it might be incredible
Mm.
for me.
You just said you were going to be disappointed.
I'm ready to be. But who knows? We'll see.
We can chit chat about it on Saturday.
the radio. I listen to a lot of radio, and the stations are playing this Bruno Mars Gaga single, and it is 4 minutes of butt, man.
Oh, that one's probably tearing up the karaoke bars in the Philippines.
It's okay.
Oh, CW Gordon said the Blackest Night variant is 1 of 100 incentive. Yeah, that ain't me. That's Christian Uncaged. That's Atomic Hound territory. I don't mess with those.
That's you at Comic-Con going, "Hey Jeff, you got one of those."
Hey, I haven't cashed in any chips yet. I haven't cashed in yet, so maybe I'll crash out to get this cover. We'll see. Chat seemed to really enjoy Hyde Street as well. Everybody
Yeah.
singing its praises.
Oh yeah. Fresh news called out the Ice Cream Man thing. They said I'm getting an Ice Cream Man vibe. Is that right? Yeah.
That's fair to say. Yeah, why not? It's definitely fair to say. You guys know how we like to end things here with the stack. Sean's stack is a segment that we do every week because I buy my comics physical and I buy a lot of them. And you guys are going to guess the number of comics that I bought this week. And whoever is closest without going over wins either a no prize, which we are happy to give out, or the code to any of the Marvel books that we did not read for the show this week. So let me see those numbers in the chat. Let's get those in. Now, go ahead.
I was gonna say Dan with 16, even though I didn't see it. I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's a safe bet. I wish I had a tremendous story to tell you guys from my LCS trip this week. But what was interesting, what I was shocked by, because I got there pretty early in anticipation of a horde, you know, and there were probably more workers, more employees than shoppers when I got there.
Huh.
I was shocked by that.
Did you get there when the doors open?
No.
Okay.
Not quite. But I
Yeah.
was there before the lunch hour. So that probably did
yeah, I bet that surely that was it.
Yeah. Even go ahead.
I was gonna say, because I wonder what it looks like. Well, I guess not now, but this time
Wednesday
Wednesday.
Wednesday at 2 p.m. was probably insanity. It was probably mania.
Yeah.
And next week, never mind. Well, yeah, sure. Next week, Scott Snyder's doing a signing. Scott Snyder and Nick Dragotta are doing a signing
next week. Okay.
Downtown. I want to go to it, but I don't know if I will. Yeah, so there wasn't really anything too exciting going on at my LCS this week, thankfully. There were, of course, still some fools that were reading comics all up in the space, but the guy that's always there, who's always, trying to explain comics to black people, he wasn't there. I beat him out somehow.
What if he listens to this show and now he has shame?
He should have shame.
Most people should.
He doesn't know it's him. I guarantee it.
He's past the point. If he never had shame before, he's too old to have it now.
You're thinking like he listens to the show, hears that story, and thinks, "Man, that guy sounds like a real ass."
Yeah. Couldn't be me.
Yeah. We had a couple people unsubscribe the other day. Maybe he was one of them. Like, you know what? I'm sick of being talked about on this damn podcast. I'm tired of it. But yeah, I had a really pleasant trip. I was able to get everything that I wanted to get, which is nice. I didn't forget anything to my knowledge. I actually deliberately don't look to make sure that I know everything that's coming out. So I might have missed something, but I'm pretty sure I didn't, and I'm happy about that.
Don't worry, you'll remember here in about 3 minutes.
Yeah,
you might be right. Marowak Escuro says, wasn't there a fight for the Justice League membership cards? There actually wasn't. The woman just plopped it down right on my stack and was like, oh, here, you get this too. As if I didn't know. As if I didn't know. This is what I came for.
Yeah.
That's what I'm here for. You better pass me that card. And if they didn't lay it down on my stack, I was going to say, hey, is there anything else today? Is there anything else that we're supposed to get today? I thought I saw something online. Scott Snyder told me.
My best friend, Scott Snyder? You're going to call him a liar?
Yeah, Scott. Scott told me. 4 DC books for 1 Justice League membership card. Cough it up, sister.
That you've lost.
No, it's here somewhere. I'll find it because I'm personally frustrated. And if I can't find it, you want to know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back to my LCS tomorrow and I'm going to buy 4 more DC comics so they can give me another card.
Yeah. CW Gordon wants to know if they were a decent quality. What's that feel like in the hand?
Unfortunately, I can't show you right now, but I did touch it and it felt nice. I liked it. I thought the quality was pretty good. It wasn't flimsy.
Okay.
It wasn't like a freaking like a card, like a business card. It wasn't anything like that. We've got flimsy business cards.
Yeah. Well, listen.
Yes, CW Gordon, I was going to talk to the cashier to get my Justice League membership card. Sounds like everybody's had a good experience at their LCS this week. I'm glad to see that. Glad to see that. Does anybody else have an LCS where you experience these horror stories, or am I the only one? I feel like I'm on Hyde Street when I go to this fucking LCS.
No, the one I went to was pretty chill. Nicely lit, a lot of action figures. It's nice to see.
Ooh.
Uh,
Is that Spider-Man Unlimited figure out yet? Do you know?
no, it hasn't even been announced yet. It is probably going to be
Okay.
announced with the next wave of Spider-Man stuff. I think
Great.
Spider Boy is probably going to be in that wave too. So I'll let you know. I'll let you know.
Yeah,
Spider-Man
yeah.
Unlimited, like the TV show?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
teasing that as a Marvel Legend.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
My
What?
man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not hunting for figures. That's the one. That's
Sean,
the
Sean
one.
do you know about the Spider-Man animated series collection of figures?
No.
They come in VHS boxes.
No, I don't know anything about it.
It's
Oh,
all
they got
of,
X-Men ones too.
yeah.
Those I've seen.
Yeah, the Spider-Man
Oh,
ones are
okay,
cool.
yeah.
They have they're usually 2-packs. They have one that just came out with like it's Spider-Man and Vulture, but like the animated series Vulture where he's younger. Yeah. But Unlimited is going to be pretty neat. I hope it's
Are those
cel-shaded.
like? Go ahead.
Well, Unlimited will probably just be a standard release by itself, so that'll probably
Yeah.
be easy to get.
But like, how expensive are those?
Probably 25
All right, that's not.
The
terrible.
the 2-pack.
if it's a 2-pack. I read a rumor that it's going to be the Unlimited is going to be a single release.
Yeah.
In a wave.
How much are the 2-packs?
2-packs
is
are
what Sean's
usually, if it's a 2-pack, you're looking at maybe 50 depending on what size the characters are in the 2-pack.
Ay, ay, ay.
25 single, it tracks.
I guess, dude.
But
when
you're
I was
forced to
coming
buy
up, they
two,
were like
yeah.
not.
but hey, hey man, that's too much.
That's a
I don't
lot of
disagree
bread.
because it's usually like there's a Lalandra figure in a 2-pack, which I want Lalandra so bad, but she comes with Brood Wolverine, which I have no use for. So that's how the 2-packs usually wind up working.
I see.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. All right. Well, Cale, you should have no struggle to get that, right? The Spider-Man Unlimited figure.
No, my store doesn't sell those.
Oh,
Nobody bought the Marvel Legends stuff in our store, so we don't sell them anymore. But the Forbidden Planet Forbidden Planet Worlds Apart here are absolutely chock full of them.
I'll send you the hookup, Sean. I'll show you where to. I got you.
please do. Yeah. Mike Hank says, I went to my LCS for the first time after last stream, trying not to rely on video covers anymore. Video covers, you mean like videos telling you what happens in the comics? Or what do you mean? I'm not sure what that means. But I am very glad that I assume we inspired you to go to your LCS. That's awesome, man. What'd you pick up? You should join our Discord and let us know. All right. Let's get to the count. You guys have submitted a bunch of numbers already. I love when the chat floods with your guesses. It's awesome to see. Cale, take it away.
All right, here we go. We have Rami up first. No, well, hold on. We've got Dan up first with his standard 26. Let's not we can't neglect that. But after that, we've got Rami at 19, and he's being a conservative about it. He's being a straight JD Vance about it. We've got James Jones as 21 for Sean. Robert Kashavak says, I'm in for 16, just like Dan. Luna is 20. Franlations is 9. Marowak Iskiro is all about the stack. He wants 15. CW Gordon says 19. Nier says 21, all in and locked in. 21. Cole is 18. Pierce Miller is 19. Matthew Mackey is 14. Mike Hank is 20. There were more. We've got Elijah Sawyer on 12. Any last ones? I think that is it.
I love how many of those were new names, by the way. I appreciate you guys playing. Breaking Lurk to take a guess. That's what's up. I love it. I love it. All right. So we've got the six that we've reviewed. So whoever said 9, not this week, Bucko. So starting at 6, we've got Plastic Man No More, number 2.
Ooh,
I haven't gotten to
get on
this
that.
yet, but I am very excited to. This issue 1 was
What cover do you have,
tremendous.
Sean? Let me see the cover.
Yeah, sure.
Oh yeah, good cover.
Yeah, it's the one where he's melting. Puts up an SOS flag. That's pretty cute. Ultraman.
Sarcastic enchiladas in here. Frankly, too late, but I'll count it with a 16.
Okay, fair enough.
Sorry.
Uh, Ultraman X Avengers #2.
Hell yeah.
I like the first one enough to give this another shot. We'll see how that pans out. Tin Can Society #1. I thought this was out last week. It was submitted as being out last week, but it wasn't. This is a giant generator book. It says the stories by Rick Remender and Peter Warren, but it's actually written by Peter Warren. So in essence, it's the first giant generator book that Rick Remender is not actively writing.
That's big, actually, in my opinion.
I think so too.
That really makes it its own
An imprint.
Yeah.
Immortal Thor #16.
Yo, that's what my boy Radioactive Man on the cover, right?
Hell yeah, dude.
Hell yeah.
Yep, I'm into that. The Creeping Below #1.
I downloaded that. I'm excited to read that. It's Azzarello.
Yep, a new #1 from Boom Studios. I always try to pick up #1s, so we'll see. I'm gonna get some judgment for this. I know.
Oh,
I know. I had to do
we
it.
go.
If you don't like it, blame my cousin. It's okay. I had to get my hands
Oh, you cuck.
Whoa.
on Secret War. Yeah, you're damn right, Tyler. For Marvel, yeah. I had to get my hands on Marvel Secret Wars issue 10. It's the Doctor Doom cover where he is defiant as fuck. His body is exposed. He's bloody, but he's not giving up. And you want to know what else I did? I got this shit foil. It's foil.
What is, because I'm a sucker for it too, what is the appeal of a foil?
I don't know. And what's the appeal of a foil card? You know, like if you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh or something, it's just shiny.
Well, there's like a
We're
rarity to
heroes.
those cards, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't add anything in the game. Like the
Just play
rarity only matters, when you're our age and you're hoping to sell them one day.
It's sparkly. It looks good. I guess that's all there is
That's
to
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to get it. I'm sorry, guys. I know I let some people down.
How
I
much?
had to do it.
How much was it?
It was $8.99.
Oh, Hickman tax or not Hickman book. All right.
That's better than I thought it would be.
I was expecting 10.
Yeah.
It was better than I thought it was going to be.
You gonna
But
read
you know
it?
what?
Or
No, I've already read it 1,000,000 times.
sure, okay.
Yeah. Nice House by the Sea #3. Red Coat #6. I haven't gotten to any of those yet. However, I did get to Birds of Prey, which was pretty good. Got some new additions to the roster. Great big Barda stuff in there. Fun time. X-Men #5.
Yep, that's a Sean cover.
Hell yeah. I had to do it. I had to get this cover.
I did do it though.
Yeah. The issue though. Not
Oh no, I haven't read it yet. Oh no.
oh boy.
Oh no.
Woo. That I did not like.
It's a lot of Quentin, I bet.
Yep, a lot of Quentin, a lot of Quanon, just feeling very out of character to me. Yeah. And the 3K thing is still happening, which I genuinely don't understand how that passed the smell test at Marvel. Like after what happened to them with Immortal Hulk and the dude who was doing the art there putting in jewelry instead of jewelry and all that heat they got for him being anti-Semitic, you would think that they would catch something like 3K being the name of a mutant hate group.
Be on purpose.
And if it is on purpose, that is nuts. Oof. That's the stack.
Double check it. I think I got lost a couple of times, but I got 15.
8, 9, 10. I got okay, it's definitely not 10. I got turned around here myself. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 is what I have.
16.
Dan Trudeau wins.
So, oh man. Yeah, Dan. Well, okay, are we giving it to him?
He didn't put it in?
Yeah, he wasn't here.
Oh!
Nope. Technicality, no down boo over.
Technicality, no down, boo over. That means Robert Kashabak's got it for 16.
Hey,
We
nice. Was
got
he the only
Robert.
16?
No, Robert Kashabak got it first, and sarcastic enchilada got it second.
Sick.
There was somebody else, but
Congratulations, Rob. If you want any of these Marvel books, the code to any of them, just reach out and talk to me. Just not Storm or Ultimate Black Panther. Or one of those I didn't have a code for. Which one was that, Cale?
it was Black Panther.
Okay, so you could get Black Panther as well. Yeah, you could get Black Panther if you want to. Tilo says you should add Night Watcher to the stack. You got to sell me, bro. You got to sell me. Why? And what am I taking off the stack? Because I can't just keep adding stuff. All right, it's getting to be a little crazy. And next week is absolute.
Do you have a list of every book you're picking up currently, or is it just like,
Just vibes, man. Just feel.
man, the Wild West over there?
Yeah, yeah. The culling is coming.
Well, Luna says, damn it. I was gonna say 15, but was like, I better add 4 books just in case.
That sounds like Sean when he's shopping.
Dude, no, I don't want to make this fucking longer than it needs to be, but if you'll indulge me for just a quick moment, I dropped books this week. I did. I dropped I didn't grab the Deviant, which I've been buying, but I decided I'm done with that. Even though it's good, I just like I don't need to buy everything. And okay, so that's the only book I dropped. What are you gonna
It's
do?
a start. Look, it's a start.
No, I dropped Free Agents. I dropped Free Agents.
That's fair.
And that's
That one didn't really sell me on the first issue.
Yeah.
I don't even remember. I don't know what that is.
Well, it's over
Yeah,
now.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's off my stack. And I didn't buy DC's I Know What You Did Last Crisis.
I did. I got to check that out. Dan Didio
Oh, is
Nightwing
that-
story.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me know how that shakes out.
Okay, I'll read it. I'll read it tonight.
I don't want to take the bait on that. A slight bit more comments and we'll cut out of here. Marowak Escuro says, you got to add to the list the Justice League card. It's here
that's-
somewhere.
That's the 4. So that card itself represents 4.
If I have to go get another one.
So
But
I
the
bet-
card itself don't represent 4. I was going to buy 4 DC books anyway.
It's probably in the pages of one of the books.
Yeah. Oh gosh. I had a bit of an avalanche yesterday. That's why.
It'll force you to read every issue now that you have to find it.
That ain't happening. Near
Tilo-
says, go ahead.
oh,
go ahead.
sorry. Tilo says Junie Ba is slowly going up in my ranking, and the art is excellent. Plus, it explores my favorite part of TMNT.
Oh, Junie Ba's a Night Watcher. Oh,
I didn't know that.
Junie Ba's doing Boy Wonder right now too, which is good.
Yeah.
I like that actually a lot.
All right. I might pick that up. I might have to do it. Near says, would you drop X-Men next month? It's getting an arc, and then after that, probably. I don't want to. It feels wrong to drop X-Men, but I mean, my God, I don't enjoy it at all. I don't. See, this is the shit that happens though. Cole says the Deviant has 1 issue left. You might as well close it out. See?
Wait, you're going to your shop anyway, so
99% of gamblers quit before they hit big.
and look, if you're buying it for the stack, it doesn't count tomorrow. We've already done the stack.
But doesn't count for next week.
No,
All right.
because it's
Yeah.
not part of next week's polls.
No,
Fair.
that's not been the. It counts for next week if he buys it.
It counts. All right.
What you no. What you drop for the show here, that's our problem. What you spend tomorrow, listen,
Oh, tomorrow's out. Yeah, agreed.
that's in God's hands.
Okay. So it doesn't. All right. I'm aligned with that. It does not count. And if I have to do it, you guys will know. CW Gordon says, if you get the 1 of 100 Hyde Street variant, does that count as 100 on the stack? Hell no, that counts as 1. But I'm telling you now, unless I get a gift from the Ghost Machine Heavens, I'm not going to be acquiring this copy. 1 of 100, that's like,
Bean couldn't even pull that one off for you.
I don't even know what the price of that would be. I wouldn't.
Midtown Comics website has it listed at 10% off. So steal right now for $90.
Oh,
Yeah, I figured it was going to be $100.
No
That tends
way.
to be how that goes. Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, that's a no for me, dog.
It's not even, I guess, the official cover of it doesn't even have the stylized title card either. Like the one I had like the title that looks like Blackest Night, the font and everything, and the image logo looks like the old DC logo.
Yeah.
No, this one has to keep the old. Interesting. They probably had a C&D on that one.
Wow.
Another disappointment.
Speak. We'll talk about it Saturday. I'll bring something up. But
Okay, fair enough. All right, guys. We're going to get out of here. Before we do, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you have not yet done so. If you enjoyed what we did here today, please do make sure you are subscribed. Come hang out with us on Saturday at 10:15 a.m. Eastern. That is the time for our main show. It is every Saturday for 7, going on 8 years.
Did you forget?
I think it's 8 years this month, actually. Or
think
maybe
you're right.
it's next month. One of those two. Anyway,
I
we'll
think you're right.
probably celebrate that. Maybe I'll put some balloons up somewhere, something like that. We'll do a little decoration for you. But yeah, we'll see you Saturday. Until then, thank you guys for hanging out.